How's it going, guys? It's your boy Night Owl. We're gonna react to another liberal hive mind video because honestly, I saw this one at work last night and I thought it was rather interesting. So I figured I would share it with you guys. Let's take a peek.
Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. And of course, here's your meme of the day, brought to you by Hivemind.com. You know, it's really a fascinating phenomenon. This idea of the woke mind virus, this suggestion that people's minds are being infected with a virus that seems to totally warp and alter their ability to make proper judgment calls, to analyze basic facts. You know, it sounds hyperbolic, but really I think it's anything but. No, it's a real thing. It's a real phenomenon, just like Trump derangement syndrome. And time again, we're hit with these clips that just prove it to be true, that display the phenomenon perfectly. These moments where you realize that the problem is not just, oh, these are difference of opinions, just a difference in worldview and philosophy. No, the problem is that these people have built an entire identity around denying reality when reality is politically or ideologically inconvenient. And they will look you in the face with dead frickin' eyes and say something that is so obviously false, so clearly from another frickin' universe, another dimension entirely, and say it with such righteousness and such confidence. You know, basically like every day of Abby Phillips' show. But it's really a fascinating phenomenon, what woke ideology does to the brain, and I've got the perfect example here. I got a clip to show you guys that's taking over the internet. Let's go ahead and delve into the woke mind. Let me show you this clip and a couple others. We got a bunch of stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. All right, folks, so I first want to start off with this clip right over here. I don't really think it needs much introduction, just take a look.
You've said things like black women are biologically different than white women.
Yes, they have different fertility windows. They have a higher rate of fertility complications, 50%
But there's
higher
no
rate.
scientific evidence to prove that a black woman and a white woman are genetically different, right? This is like...
What are you talking
This is
about?
according... No,
But literally, there are genes that code for their skin color. There are genes that...
Again, this is like government data. This is EMI, right? This is the National Institute of Health. This is the American Medical Association. Like, there is no scientific evidence to prove that.
And that's a big problem, right? Because
no, there's no scientific
and that's
evidence
why I
around
asked.
things like IQ differences. Black people are genetically different from other populations.
And I'll say that again. There is at least there is no scientific evidence to prove that, right? And as people
I'm sorry. I'm stating. Do you want to ask an AI if there's scientific evidence to prove that?
No, I want to ask.
No,
this
because
is
what you're
purely based
stating
on
is just factually incorrect. Humans are genetically diverse. It's not a bad thing that humans
I'm not
are
saying it's
genetically
ever,
diverse.
I'm not saying it's a bad or a good thing. I'm saying there is no scientific evidence.
And I'm saying that is a factually...
he's saying that there is scientific
There
evidence.
is scientific evidence. There is
Based
overwhelming
on-
scientific
based
evidence.
on-
and
and
it's
this
the
is-
basics... No. This is like saying the sky is not blue. Like, it is genes that code their skin color, right? Those genes are obviously different in them than they are in us. How is that not science? That's just like a basic fact. The genes that code their skin color, their level of melanin production, are different from my genes that code melanin production.
And that's precisely why I was asking this question, because I think for some people that do believe, like you, that people are genetically different.
For me personally, it's hard to wrap my head around that a fully grown adult human being in a professional setting, and we know this girl, she worked for Vice, she worked for MSNBC, she's supposedly at the top of the industry, yet she could say something like that with a straight face. She could say it out loud and seemingly believe it. It's so incredibly stupid. Of course there's differences in human populations. Are we really gonna pretend as if this is some sort of controversial topic? Basic biology, again, is controversial. Of course, it's not surprising coming from the people who believe
It's always been basically controversial to them. They've never adhered to basic biology. The fact of the matter is, like, everything is like biologically diverse. Men and women are different. Black people and white people are different. Asian people and Hispanic people are different. It's not a bad thing. It's something we should all embrace. But the fact that this lady is sitting here dead-eyed, just like listening to what this guy has to say, but not really. She's more or less just waiting for his mouth to stop moving so she just interject her fucking delusional worldview. It's kind of sickening, and the fact is, there's a lot of people out here like that.
believe that there's a billion different genders, but yes, there are biological differences between the races. People have different skin pigmentation. That's a biological difference, different hair texture, different facial features, different bone structure in their faces, or rather in their skulls. You got different distributions among the races in respect to certain genetic traits and disease risks. I mean, this stuff is basic, and to watch these leftoids engage in these ideological gymnastics, all in an effort to just continuously reaffirm and confirm their ideological biases, their preferred reality, it's something else. But what it really is anti-scientific. And it's clear why they want to shut down the conversation, why they don't want to engage in real science. It's because they're terrified of opening the door to topics that they don't want you to touch. You know, like group differences in outcomes, the links between heritage and IQ, the preferred la-di-da ideology trumps the science. And obviously, they're scared shitless of the science because, well, if it turns out they were wrong, well, then their entire ideology essentially falls apart. You know, actually, interesting enough, in response to that clip, an individual by the name of Dakota J. Miller gave his 2 cents or his personal experience in relation to this phenomenon. I found this post fascinating. He writes, I had an extremely similar argument with my original chair for my PhD dissertation. I wanted to research why infant mortality is so much higher in African American women. If you Google this, the answer you'll find is racisms. But that is not an empirical.
No, you honestly can't make this shit up. I used to for better lack of a word, I used to date air quote a African American girl, and she swore up and down that white doctors were just murdering black babies just because more racism. Like I it didn't last long, believe you and me, but goddamn, there's actually stupid people out there like that.
Answer. My hypothesis was due to the socioeconomics that African American women were suffering from obesity at a greater rate than other demographics. We already know that obesity is a factor in infant mortality. I also found some maps that showed correlation with infant mortality, race, obesity, and geographic locations, so I wanted to see if there was anything behind this. I got shut down for being a bigot by saying that black women are too unhealthy to have kids. Not at all what I was saying. I ended up having to do another topic to get my degree. So when people accused me of racism, note I was willingly called a bigot to try to save black lives, and yet the people who are social justice warriors are happy to keep letting them die because it's too racist to say that the cause is anything other than racism. The left does not want to engage in research that might produce politically inconvenient explanations. No, they want a single, approved, one-glove-fits-all explanation that reinforces their moral narrative. All issues are downstream from racism. And I think Dakota raised a great point. I mean, if the goal is actually saving lives, well, you should want every plausible hypothesis tested honestly, even if the results make you feel uncomfortable, because at the end of the day, the most important thing is getting to the right conclusion, understanding the world that we live in. Because whether the left wants to accept it or not, at the end of the day, we live in the real world. We live in reality, not your fancy academic fairy tale land. But again, ideology trumps all else. And so certain topics have become taboo, right? We can't even study them. We can't get good data because if you start looking into outcomes, if you start looking into data, maybe relating to IQ and race or biology, well, then all of a sudden you have treaded into unacceptable territory. And so the science is suppressed. And then it's replaced with whatever, we saw in that initial video. The government said, therefore, right? That's the argument.
Honestly, like we're at a fat crossroads in our society and like as a human race as a whole. We either need to totally overpower these people and just fast track ourselves back to reality, or we just need to have this big conflict and get it over with, and whoever wins wins. Because at the end of the day, you can't argue politics and science and morality with people who are just totally disjointed and disconnected from reality. These people live in Minecraft as opposed to everybody else who lives in the real world. Their delusional takes and their just like fake statistics and science, like it's a danger to society. Every bit of leftist liberal ideology is a danger to society.
Government studies have suggested. I mean, to suggest that we have any good data on these topics is completely ridiculous. I'm sticking with the IQ example because obviously that's the most taboo, it's the most controversial. But when it comes to that topic, I mean, we have no data. There was a study conducted decades ago, but that study found results that the left did not like, that the academic ideologues thought was offensive, and so basically, there's been no concrete studies ever since. Now, the left wants you to ignore all of that and simply accept that IQ and outcomes have nothing to do with biology and everything to do with environment. Nature versus nurture, right? And they make that claim absolutely. But this is complete nonsense. And here's a study that basically disproves it. Genetic and environmental contributions to IQ in adoptive and biological families with 30-year offspring. Adoptive children's IQs show a stronger resemblance to their biological parents' intelligence as they age, indicating significant genetic influence, but the adoptive environment, like parental education, provides a crucial boost, especially for children from deprived backgrounds, lifting their IQs above their biological relatives' potential, though these environmental effects on general intelligence can fade in adulthood, leaving genetics dominant for adult IQ. Essentially, your IQ is directly correlated, it's directly inherited from your biological parents, not environment. Environment helps a little bit in terms of allowing you to develop better, but there's still that biological ceiling. This is simply a fact. But again, we can't even study these topics effectively because racism. We cannot have a proper, open, honest, scientific discussion about anything related to race because ideology trumps everything else. Another great example is how slavery is taught. Actually, I saved this video the other day. This is from The Branca Show. Take a look at this insightful segment.
69% of black women believe that white people invented slavery. Now, if you have a normal education, you know that slavery was endemic to the human population for all of human existence until Europeans wiped it out, made it illegal. It's still practiced in the third world today. Not only was it invented by white people, but nobody did more than white people to try to eliminate slavery.
Exactly. How slavery is taught is the clearest example.
Absolutely based take. And like, white people are the only peoples who have ever made a concerted effort to not have any type of like slavery in their society. The Arabs still practice it. The Africans still practice it. A lot of third world countries still practice it, and you can argue that a lot of the human trafficking that is going on under everybody's noses could be considered slavery, which I do believe it is. And a lot of this is just indicative of what's going on in the world today. There- A lot of people just turn a blind eye to it and they point the finger at the white man.
Human history is not being taught, but rather instead it's a moral theater production. The ideology is that the white man is at the core of the world's problems and everything evil, and especially slavery. It's grievance ideology, and of course this left-wing grievance ideology needs a permanent villain, and that's the white man. And of course I'm not sitting here denying the evil of slavery or justifying it. No, the point is that this is propaganda. This is left-wing moral dogma to dehumanize white people as the most evil, villainous characters in world history. As if slavery is uniquely a white practice, but that is fundamentally untrue. And the real story is that white people, white society, European nations were the first to abolish slavery. Well, if I'm not mistaken, it was the United Kingdom first, then America, then the rest of the European world followed. But of course, that's not taught now, is it? No, because again, the grievance ideology trumps the facts. The facts are not allowed to enter the room. And if you dare expose the facts, well then of course you become the problem. You're the racist. Here's another clear-cut example.
I don't want to be like replaced at a job because I'm
You
white.
are not being replaced.
I literally just said I've not gotten jobs
So
because
have I,
of
but
diversity
I don't
quotas.
feel like I'm being replaced.
That's what that is. You could have got that job if you were black. So how is that not being replaced? That's what affirmative action is. What do you think it is?
No, that was casting. That's what that was. It was casting.
Casting. Okay. What a delusional fucking way to just like deflect the current issue at hand. This lady, the girl before that was 100% right. Affirmative action is nothing but replacement. They hand jobs that you might be more qualified for to a person of color simply because of the color of their skin. That's all it is. That's it. Can't argue that.
But why is it hard for you not to just go, I did not get that one, let me go for this one?
Yeah, I will
As
do that,
just-
but you think like black people would be chill with that if it's like, oh,
I
sorry,
think
you're
they
black,
have
you can't
been
get
chill
that
with
job.
that.
I don't
I
think
think
so.
they-
We had a whole civil rights movement,
I
so I
think-
don't think that was very
Why did
chill.
black
You got a
people have a
problem with the
civil
civil
rights
rights movement?
Because they were being discriminated against, so they
You
started
think they
a
should
civil
still
ri-
be slaves?
It's the default move, right? Here we are talking about DEI being clear discrimination against white and Asian people. But if you dare say that, the left response is, well, you want to bring back slavery. It is completely insane. But it's also par for the course. This is the dynamic. This is the back
Liberal white female guilt is going to destroy this country. I swear to God.
and forth with the left. We cannot have honest conversations on sensitive topics. The moment you touch anything involving race, they instantly sprint to the most hysterical interpretation possible. And it's not because they don't understand what you're saying, it's not because they don't believe you. No, it's because they're using hysteria as a weapon to shut down the conversation, to intimidate normal people into silence. And that, of course, is wrong. I mean, maybe with
Yeah, it's totally dishonest. They just go for the nuclear option because they know they have no argument. It's like if somebody asks you politely to stop and then you just pull a gun out and shoot them in the head. It's the worst type of way to be.
a lot of people, it comes from a good point, you know? They don't want to tackle these uncomfortable truths. They'd rather pretend they don't exist and try to create the most utopic world possible. I'm sure some people genuinely believe that, but at the end of the day, it's counterintuitive. It's anti-scientific. It's cult behavior. It's moral dogma above facts and honest conversation. You may think you're doing the world a service by shutting down conversation, but you're really not. You're creating an ideological cult. You're suppressing proper science and the pursuit of truth. And that is wrong, regardless of the topic of conversation. Anyways, that's pretty much it. That's what I got for you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.
Interesting stuff, huh? And I tell you, he never misses a video. If you like his content, go ahead, find his channel, give him a like and subscribe. I personally will never ask you to do that for myself. Those words will never come out of my mouth in regards to my own channel. But give this man the time of day. He deserves it.